Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Former President Donald Trump was elected to another term on Wednesday in a victory over Vice President Kamala Harris. His win completes one of the most remarkable comebacks in political history, just 4 years after losing to Joe Biden. Trump defeated Harris by capturing the required 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency. His tally could increase as more votes are counted. The race was both improbable and historic. His return to the White House comes after he was impeached twice, survived 2 assassination attempts, and was convicted of 34 felony counts. Back in the spring, the Biden administration, under intense pressure from his party to stop supporting Israel's war against Hamas, quickly put into place the idea of building a temporary pier in Gaza that would allow for the offloading of food and medical supplies to the residents. The $230 million pier was intended to be a visual example of how the U.S. was helping humanitarian aid flow into the war-torn region as Israel sought out Hamas terrorists in the Palestinian region. But thanks to rough weather and high seas, the pier only operated for about 20 days. The White House had expected that it would allow delivery of enough provisions to feed an estimated 1.5 million Palestinians over a 3-month period. But the pier ultimately delivered less than a third of that for roughly 450,000 Palestinians before it was decommissioned on July 17th, according to the U.S. Agency for International Development Office of the Inspector General report issued in August. The same report found that Biden had prematurely charged ahead with the pier despite the urgings of multiple federal aid workers. Almost no implementation planning had taken place before Biden's announcement, forcing state and Defense Department officials to scramble to handle the order. And why is this important now? A U.S. soldier who was working on that pier was injured back on May 23rd. Sergeant Quandarius Devon Stanley, 23, was one of 3 U.S. service members hurt on that day and died last Thursday from his injuries. The other 2 service members suffered minor injuries and returned to work after the incident, which the Pentagon has said was not combat-related. Cuba was left reeling Thursday after a Category 3 hurricane ripped across the island, knocking out the country's power grid, downing trees, and damaging infrastructure. Hurricane Rafael crossed a western portion of Cuba on Wednesday evening, about 45 miles west of Havana. Some 50,000 people took shelter in Havana, with thousands more doing the same in regions south and just west of the capital, since they lived in flood zones or in unsafe homes. Electricity officials for the country's Ministry of Energy and Mines said power had been partially restored in the island's western region and that generation units were powering back up. But he warned that restoring power would be slow going as crews took safety precautions. No fatalities were immediately reported. A new study published on Science Direct links toxic PFAS forever chemical exposure in young adults to reduce gut health. With this, researchers suspect this is a main driver of kidney disease later in life, as kidney disease is one of the well-established health problems linked to PFAS exposure. The new research suggests changes in gut bacteria and associated metabolites caused by the chemical seem to be responsible for up to 50% of a decrease in kidney function seen over a 4-year period. PFAS are a class of about 15,000 compounds that are used to make products water, stain, and grease resistant. They are also linked to a range of serious health problems like cancer, immune dysfunction, birth defects, endocrine disruption, and liver disease. TGI Fridays, a favorite casual dining destination, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Citing the COVID-19 pandemic among its business challenges, the company filed for bankruptcy Saturday with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Texas in Dallas. The filing encompasses 39 U.S. TGI Friday locations owned by TGI Fridays, Inc. The 39 locations will remain open, operating as usual as the bankruptcy proceedings move forward. Other locations, there are more than 160 in the U.S. and others internationally, along with the TGI Fridays brand and intellectual property, are owned by another entity, TGI Fridays Franchisor, LLC. Those locations remain open to the company said. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Let's talk portable electric space heater safety. These heaters must not be left unattended. Place them on a stable base 3 feet from combustibles. Their use is not recommended within a bedroom, but if you must do so, place a smoke detector on the ceiling within the bedroom. Plug a portable space heater directly into the outlet, avoiding extension cords. Thus, do not use lamp cords or power strips for this purpose. Are portable, unvented propane and oil-filled heating appliances safe to use within a residence? No. Massachusetts prohibits their use. These heaters produce asphyxiant gases. These gases can render an occupant incapacitated or dead. Please consider your safety during these upcoming colder months.
Welcome back. During Wednesday's Town Council meeting, councilors had a number of topics to discuss. The town's Department of Public Works was in attendance to give an update on the lead and copper rule revisions. Residents are being notified about the new updates and how to check if your home is affected. Here's more from the Public Works Department.
The new lead and copper rules will require many things of communities across the state, including Braintree. But there are 3 sort of major changes that we wanted to highlight tonight, and those are as follows. The first is a requirement for communities to develop an inventory of all known water services townwide, with an emphasis on determining what material each and every water service is made of, whether it's made of copper, whether it's made of lead, iron, or if it's of unknown material. And when I say unknown material, I'm basically referring to the fact that the town doesn't have a specific enough record to be able to determine the pipe material. The second requirement is going to be to notify all residents via U.S. mail who have a water service that is either made of lead, made of galvanized iron because it may contain lead, or have a water service of unknown material. And these notifications by regulation need to be sent out to residents postmarked by November 15th, so just about a week from today. And the last requirement is going to be develop over the next over the course of the next several years to develop a long-range action plan with the ultimate goal of eventually eliminating all lead services from the town's water system.
Town of Braintree, like we said, is currently in compliance with the lead and copper rules, so there is no worries at all about the safety of the drinking water. The town continues to achieve its treatment goals for the prevention of lead and copper. Public information is going to be up on our website, including this slideshow will also be up there, and we'll post that. The other thing that people can also do is test for their lead.
If you click on the link for the map, it brings you to this GIS-based mapper, which will load. And so if I were to zoom in on this map, there's multiple ways you can navigate. The map off to the side, it clarifies the lead and copper rule right here. It breaks.
Address it and focus in on an address?
Yes, you can. So you could type an address right here, just like Google.
24 Conrad Street.
24.
Come on. No.
All right, so you're right here, and you are non-lead.
I knew it. I knew it.
And so if you click on that address, right, you see it's non-lead. It clarifies this was verified via records review. It gives you the public side as confirmed copper. It gives you some other general information on the public side. It's 3/4 inch, 1950 was the install date. And then the private side is also confirmed coffer, 3/4 inch, 1950.
Then, councilors spoke with Joseph P. Dalton regarding the rezoning and redevelopment of the property located at 1139 Washington Street. The development will become a multifamily residential complex. With guidance from the planning board, Dalton refined his plans to comply with the town. Here's more from Dalton on his research and plans for the property.
Number 3, congruent use and economic development. The current industrial use of the property as a whole demonstrates a clear need for a cohesive zoning designation. Aligning both lots under general business would create a unified approach to land use. This change would enhance economic development in the area and provide much needed housing and increasing tax revenue pending a successful planning board application. Number 5, at last week's O&R meeting, a couple of the members had a question as to what restoring the wetlands meant, and I have some additional information on that. Brad McKenzie from McKenzie Engineering, they've been consulting on the site plan and the environmental and conservation aspect of this, and these words are from Mr. McKenzie. A congruent use of the property as a whole will allow for much needed restorative measures along the Manatee River front. These existing wetlands have been substantially degraded via the commercial use right up to the wetlands line. There have been no stormwater management or treatment to prevent site contaminants and pollutants from entering the river resource, which many homes on Shepherd Road and Jefferson Street currently enjoy. The wetlands, as well as the associated 25-foot wetlands buffer and riverfront area, have become degraded due to the continued commercial use of the property. Presently, there is no buffer to the wetlands, as much of the area is devoid of vegetation, and as such, the wetland interests under the local and state regulations are not sufficiently protected. This proposal will involve engaging a wetland scientist to work cooperatively with the Conservation Commission to prepare a wetlands and buffer zone restoration plan that will involve the removal of debris and invasive species and then supplementing with wetlands vegetation. The 25-foot buffer will be created by proposing a mixture of native saplings and shrubs. The buffer, along with the proposed stormwater measures, will serve to renovate the runoff prior to discharge to the wetland resource. Should this rezone be unsuccessful and future development be limited to the larger parcel at 1151 Washington Street, that would dictate a more limited environmental restoration and impact less of the streetscape. Currently, there is no buffer for this existing commercial use directly abutting a residential district, in this case, Residence B. Number 6, design. A multifamily residential design is currently underway. Design items including density, parking, number of units, materials, orientation, setback, size, height, etc. will be subject to the review of the Zoning Board of Appeal, the Planning Board, the Conservation Commission, and so on. Lastly, traffic. Residents of Shepherd Road and Jefferson Street have expressed concern over traffic impacts on Washington Street, especially during peak commuting hours. Pending a successful rezone, I will work with the town and engage a traffic engineer for the project's effect on traffic. Washington Street is a state road, and that fact, along with the effects of other new developments in the vicinity, will be taken into consideration.
One upcoming U.S. holiday will feature something new for retail stores in Braintree. In a new announcement from the town, hours for retail stores have been announced for Veterans Day. On November 11th, retail businesses won't be allowed to open before 1 p.m. that day. And Braintree Police Chief Timothy Cahoon said he understands this may make things more difficult for business owners, but supports the decision. Cahoon said, quote, "This is a day we celebrate veterans and honor them for serving our country. We should honor those who have died for our freedom, as well as the men and women who serve and have served to make the United States a safer place," end quote. Officials say that the new schedule is specifically for retail stores and doesn't apply to restaurants or service stations. Braintree's Department of Elder Affairs has a number of activities lined up for seniors this November. To start, every Friday the center is hosting an event called Fun Movie Fridays, where you can watch a different movie every week at the center for free. Some one-time events to keep in mind include the Norfolk County DA visiting the Senior Center with their shredding truck from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on November 12th. On November 19th, a benefits specialist from South Shore Elder Services will be available to share senior care information from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And on November 21st at 12 p.m., the center is hosting their annual Thanksgiving luncheon at Braintree Town Hall. For more information, contact the department at 781-848-1963 or stop by at 71 Cleveland Avenue. The Braintree High School Theater Guild presents the revised contemporary version of the musical comedy The Unsinkable Molly Brown. Directed by Rolf Carlson and technical director Charles Ferguson, this show follows the remarkable journey of Margaret Molly Brown that includes her surviving the sinking of the Titanic. Performances take place on November 22nd and 23rd at 7 p.m. and November 23rd and 24th at 2 p.m. Performances will take place at the Grabowski Auditorium located at Braintree High School. Tickets are $15 for evening performances and $12 for matinees. For further information, please contact faculty advisor Charles Ferguson at BHS Theater Guild at braintreeschools.org or at 508-737-6736. Boston native, actor, and comedian Steve Sweeney will headline a unique comedy show this November in Braintree. Sober Comedy Night, presented by the Hope Center and Braintree Community Partnership, is scheduled for November 21st in the heated pavilion at the Braintree Public Safety Complex. The event is scheduled from 7 to 9 p.m. and tickets are $30 per person, and seating is limited, officials said. Head to norfolksheriff.com for more information on how to buy tickets. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Do you know that electrical failures are the third leading cause of home fires? Cords and plugs led in this category, while extension cords dominated this category. To avoid these fires, plug heat-generated appliances directly into an outlet. Do not use power strips or extension cords on these appliances. Power strips are designed for use with electronics only. Do not put electrical cords underneath rugs or pinch behind furniture. Do not overload outlets. Charge laptops and phones on hard surfaces only. Finally, if an electrical device is not working as designed, it is time to repair it or replace it. Be conscious of your home environment and be safe, and thank you for doing so.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. Massachusetts voters approved a significant measure on Tuesday, granting union rights to drivers working for ride-hailing companies like Uber and Lyft. This decision marks a milestone for gig economy workers, ensuring that these drivers can now collectively bargain for better wages and working conditions. However, voters rejected the high-profile measure aimed at legalizing certain psychedelics, a proposal that sought to allow regulated access to substances for therapeutic use. In other ballot measures, Massachusetts voters decided against raising the minimum hourly wage for workers who collect tips, a proposal that would have provided a wage boost for those in service industries such as restaurants and hospitality. On a more educational front, voters approved a measure to eliminate comprehensive exams as a requirement for high school graduation. Lastly, voters supported a proposal to audit the Massachusetts legislature, a move aimed at increasing transparency and ensuring accountability within the state government. This weekend, Quincy officials will recognize Veterans Day weekend with 2 tributes to American service members, the dedication of a new monument, and the annual Veterans Day Parade. To kick off the weekend, on Saturday, November 11th, the city will dedicate a new monument at Mount Wollaston Cemetery to those who fought in America's wars in the Middle East from 1990 to the present day. According to the city, 7 veterans of these wars are set to receive posthumous honors. Then at 9:30 a.m., veterans will march from Quincy High School to Mount Wollaston, where a ceremony will start at 10 a.m. The new stone monument will be unveiled during the ceremony. Last but definitely not least, on Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th, the City of Presidents will hold its annual Veterans Day Parade. In case of bad weather, the ceremony will be moved to the Quincy High School Gymnasium at 11 a.m. There will also be a Veterans Day ceremony on Monday, November 11th at Braintree Town Hall beginning at 10 a.m. BCAM TV will be there to televise the event on our government channels, Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon Channel 26. This Saturday, November 9th, White Pine Market and the North Quincy High School Parent Advisory Council are hosting a vibrant craft fair offering shoppers a chance to discover unique, locally made gifts just in time for the holiday season. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Quincy North High School, over 125 vendors will line the halls showcasing a variety of handmade goods perfect for one-of-a-kind presents. Admission is $5 with children under 12 entering for free. The event will also feature food trucks, a holiday cookie decorating station, a cocoa bar, and high-value raffles. Don't miss this festive, family-friendly event this Saturday. Norfolk County Register of Deeds William P. O'Donnell announced their 2024 holiday food drive. With many individuals and families in Norfolk County facing challenges to afford basic necessities like food, particularly during the holiday season, Register O'Donnell is asking people to take a moment to contribute to the annual Registry of Deeds food drive. Starting Wednesday, November 13th, the drive is accepting non-perishable food items. A donation bin will be set up in the registry's lobby located at 649 High Street in Dedham. Suggested donations include canned goods, breakfast cereals, pastas, sauces, toiletries, and paper products. The food drive runs through Thursday, December 19th. The Norfolk County Sheriff's Office is partnering with Coats for Kids and Families to help thousands of people who may not have access to warm winter coats as the colder weather starts to settle in. Sheriff Patrick McDermott said in his release, quote, "With the chill in the air, we are all digging through closets for that perfect coat to keep us warm. As you find yourself searching, please consider donating any children's or adults' winter coats you no longer need. We are looking for warm winter coats that are new or gently used, good quality in all sizes," end quote. Collection bins will be in the lobbies of Norfolk County Correctional Facility in Dedham and the Civil Process Office in Quincy starting Friday, October 11th. The coats will be professionally cleaned by Anton's Cleaners and given to local nonprofits, social service agencies, and schools for distribution in Norfolk County and beyond. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment and sports. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now here's Chris Curran with the latest on fall sports at Braintree High.
Playoff soccer started for the boys this week, where they played at Xavier Brothers, losing 2-1, ending their season. Let's look at highlights from that game. Xavier Brothers scores first off a corner, which finds the head and is just out of the reach of the goalie. For their second goal, the Xavier Brothers attacker is able to make it through some defense and get the give-and-go pass, shooting it for the goal. With little time to go, Braintree is able to get a free kick from the 18, which McClory puts to the outside of the net, scoring. The girls had a little better luck in their first playoff game, winning 3-0 versus Belmont. Let's look at highlights from that game. Braintree's first goal, coming off a free kick that was basically a corner, finds the foot and scores top shelf. Early in the second, Braintree had a breakaway opportunity that went off the inside of the post and out. Everyone in the crowd thought it was a goal. Coming off the momentum of that close goal, Braintree got a corner kick that found the head and up in top corner, scoring their second goal of the game. Braintree's third goal coming off a throw-in that Nugent just tosses at the net and deflects off a defender, putting it in. This didn't count as an own goal, it counted as Nugent's third goal of the game. Braintree goes on to play third seed Brookline in the round of 16 on Friday. In the girls' volleyball tournament, Braintree lost 3-0 to Needham. Sadly, we don't have highlights from that game. In their second to last game, the football team beat Newton North 28-14. Let's look at highlights from that game. Braintree scores first on a run play up the gut, barreling through some defenders. Braintree scores again in the second quarter on a slant to Canavan where he drags 2 defenders in, giving Braintree a 14-0 lead going into half. Newton North gets their first points on the first drive of the second half, where their running back is able to break free, stiff-arming a man to get in for the score. With a nice hole opened up by the offensive line and some mean running by Curry, he's able to get in from the 10-yard line to give Braintree a 2-score lead. Newton North is able to get it back within 1 with a back shoulder throw to their wide receiver who comes down with it. Braintree is able to make it a 2-score lead again with a quick throw to the receiver who gets the edge on the defender and walks in untouched. Braintree goes on to play their last game of the season Friday at Taunton. You can catch any live or rebroadcast of the game on Comcast Channel 12 or 1073 for HD, Verizon Channel 28 or 2128 for HD, our YouTube BCam TV, or our website bcam.tv. Let's send it back to Martha in the studio.
Thanks, Chris. Now we have 3 recommendations for you to watch this weekend. First, Venom: Last Dance follows Eddie and Venom, who are being pursued by a mysterious military man and alien monsters from Venom's home world. As circumstances tighten, they're compelled to make a heart-wrenching choice that could mark the end of their partnership. The film stars Tom Hardy and Juno Temple. You can watch Venom: Last Dance now in theaters. Next, Smile 2 follows global pop sensation Sky Riley, who begins to experience increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and pressures of fame, she must face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. The film stars Naomi Scott, and you can watch Smile 2 now in theaters. And finally, We Live in Time follows Almut and Tobias, who are brought together by a surprise encounter that changes their lives. As they embark on a path challenged by the limits of time, they learn to cherish each moment of their unconventional love story. The film stars Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. You can watch We Live in Time now in theaters. That'll do it for news today. Remember, if you're a customer of Verizon, you can watch BCam TV in high definition on channel 2128. You can also now see us in high definition on Comcast on channel 1073. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCam TV. We'll see you next time.